Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm really excited to be doing a trying new makeup. I have a bunch of products that I want to test out, and these are more glowy, natural, everyday, light coverage, cream products, not my typical heavy powder, glam look that I typically do in these trying new makeup videos. This is going to be more of an effortless look. I think you guys will really enjoy it. I'm excited to try these products out. So let me share with you, I have the Artist Couture Prep and Glow Blurring Perfection Primer. I hauled this in a Sephora haul. This is like a glowy primer I want to test out. Also the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. I've been enjoying this. I've only used it a handful of times, but I thought I would demo it. I also have this new NARS Radiant Creamy Color Corrector. I thought we could test that out under my eyes. Also, my skin after my period this week just like literally went insane, and of course I picked at it and I didn't help the situation. So I want to test those out, as well as I thought I could play with the Tower 28 Bronzino. Now I've used these before, but this is one of their newer shades called Gold Coast. I also have a new mascara from Lorac. This is the Holy Lash, as well as this e.l.f. Jelly Pop Glow Stick. This is newer to their collection and it's like a balm highlighter stick. So I really wanted to test that out. I felt like cream products, tinted moisturizer, this all kind of coincides. I also did purchase the Dior Backstage Powder No Powder in a lighter shade to dust over the skin, not for a bronzer. Probably gonna use one of my Lawless glosses, the new tinted ones. Maybe we'll use a lip stain, who knows, but just a bunch of glowy products. So if you've been wanting me to do more of a natural everyday look, here we are. Let me know if you like these. I can do these more. I don't know, I feel like for trying new makeup, I always have to focus around an eyeshadow palette, and the palettes are usually like super colorful, big palettes, and I just feel like I have to do a really glam look, and then I feel like I can't do a glowy base. It's just a whole thing. But today we're taking it back to an everyday natural look, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe. I will link all the products down below, and let's go ahead and begin. So before I even start in, I'm gonna go in with this Milk makeup. What is this called? This is the Vegan Milk Moisturizer. I really like this product. It was sort of hidden away. I should zoom you in, hold on. Here we go. So I really like this moisturizer. It was hidden away in my dresser, and I grabbed it out to get some use out of it. I like to go in my dresser, you know, every few weeks where I have my makeup stored and just see if there's something I want to revisit or pull back out. I really like this. It's not scented, or if it has a scent, it's not heavily scented. It doesn't irritate. It's really hydrating and it looks nice under makeup. So for primer, I'm going to go in with the Artist Couture Prep and Glow Blurring Perfection Primer. I picked this up from Sephora. It is a plastic bottle, and it does have a luminosity to it. It has a pump on it. So this is supposed to be blurring, but also illuminating, which typically those two don't go hand in hand. So I bought this more as a illuminating. Smells like creamsicles. Not overpowering, but it really does smell good. And I read a review, I mentioned this in my Sephora haul. There was only one review that said it was really heavy and sticky, but I didn't feel that when I swatched it. Now that I'm using it on my face, there's a slight tack, but it's not like the Milk Hydro Grip or the e.l.f. Jelly Pop. It's just a slight tack. It doesn't feel heavy to me. So you can see it definitely gives you a beautiful glow, which is what I was looking for. It feels hydrating too. It's not like the Rare Beauty. The Rare Beauty, I really like it, but it almost sets down, so there's really not any hydration. The Rare Beauty would be good for oily skin just because of that. This is sort of in between. It's not super moisturizing, let's say like the Auric Glow Lust. That's like heavy moisturizing. I feel like people with dry skin really would get on with that. This is somewhat in the middle, so I feel like I'll like it. And if it does get a little bit glowy or heavy, then I would just keep it on the perimeters of my face, and that will do. Next up, I'm actually really excited to give these a try. These are new from NARS. They're the Radiant Creamy Color Correctors. There's light, medium, medium deep, and deep. And then it tells you on this card they sent, which is really helpful, what it covers. So I think I'm gonna go in with the light shade. This is what the light shade looks like. Definitely has a peachy tone. And I wanna try this to cover up my acne because we're going in with a light coverage tinted moisturizer. I had a horrible breakout. My skin has been doing so well, and then I had all these little bumps and breakouts, and then I picked at them, and it was around my period, so definitely hormonal. it was a fun time, and I'm like, stop picking at them. Does anybody else do that? It's like, I'll have a little bump and I think I can just like extract it and put a patch on it, but then I just make it worse. It's one of those things. So let me get my mirror up close here. It says that this light shade covers pink and red, which is why I'm trying it on the blemishes. And also it says blue gray. So I'm just gonna try to tap it on. I'm curious to see the coverage on this, the texture. Looks like it has a nice amount of coverage. So just comparing it to, let's say, like the Pixie corrector. The Pixie corrector definitely has coverage as well, but it's a little bit more peachy, like a salmon pink. This is a little bit more, I don't see pink in it really. It's more of like, I guess, an orange, a light orangey peach. So I'm just going to try to build that up. I really like the Charlotte Tilbury under eye corrector as well. And then the Becca is really nice, but that one is more, I think, for the under eyes. That one's more brightening, whereas the other one's just sort of color correct underneath. The Becca one, I feel like you can use alone because it just brightens. All right, so this is what the NARS corrector looks like in light. I feel like it did a really nice job at blanking out that redness and correcting it. So I really feel like this might be a great option for spot concealing just before you go in with your foundation or tinted moisturizer. I am curious to use it under my eyes to see how it does in terms of like brightening, just because the shade looks just a little bit deep for me. It's not like the Becca that I'm thinking of. It's more in the Pixie realm, whereas the Becca I can use alone to brighten and sort of take the edge off. The Pixie I use under my concealer because it is that really peachy color. So I'm gonna go in next with my Tarte primer. I always do this. This is the Tarte Timeless Smoothing, just in my T-zone here. So next up, I'm gonna go in with the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer SPF 30 Sunscreen. I have the shade Light 2 Alaska. This was sent to me. I feel like it's going to be a little bit light today, but we'll make it work. I've used this a couple times and I really like it. It's a moisturizing tinted moisturizer. It's not overly radiant, but it definitely is a glowy product. So I'm gonna start applying with a sponge. Yeah, ooh, that color's light. Dang. I feel like I'm having such a hard time matching my colors here. So you can see the finish there. It definitely has some coverage, but it's nothing insane, but it's enough for me. I have general redness, so my issue typically is with tinted moisturizers is not enough coverage because I actually can't just like spot conceal my entire T-zone. In that case, I would just have to put concealer all over my T-zone. And I think that's where my issue lies, is I can spot conceal these blemishes and like my forehead isn't super red, but my T-zone is really pink and red, and I just feel like I need a little bit more coverage for that area. Okay, so this is what the tinted moisturizer looks like. I would say it is a maybe light medium coverage, but you can build it to, I would say, a low end medium if you wanted to, but I like the finish of it. It is not heavy. It doesn't accentuate my texture. I do like it, and this is something that I reach for most days when I'm not filming, this and the Fenty Eavesdrop. And if I do want a little bit more coverage, I will mix in my NARS just for my T-zone area, but I think it's really pretty. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this to the rest of the skin. This is what the NARS Radiant Tinted Moisturizer is looking like. I have to say, I might like it more than the Fenty Beauty. I just love the finish of it. I feel like it's so glowy and gorgeous, but it's not heavy. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel thick. I don't feel like I want to get it off my skin. It definitely is dewy, so I will use some powder in my T-zone, but I want to go in next with the Tower 28 Bronzino. I demoed this way back when, but I actually used it over powder, I believe. They came out with some new shades, and I have Gold Coast. This is not brand new, but I really haven't had a chance to try this shade. It looks really warm, almost like a coppery color. So I'm interested to use this and see what we think in terms of applying it over a tinted moisturizer. So I went ahead and dipped my sponge in, and I'm just gonna start applying. I'm not usually a huge fan of cream bronzers. I like cream blushes, especially ones that will go over powder. And this is an interesting one because it is one of those that has like a shimmer to it. Not glitter, but it definitely is a glowy bronzer, which you typically don't see. I'm not sure if that's showing up very much. Let me try. The shade might be a little bit too light for me right now. I feel like it is showing up, but it's very subtle. That definitely did give me some warmth, but I want a little bit more sculpting around my cheekbones. I'm gonna go in with their Bronzino in Best Coast. This one is much deeper, almost just like right here. Sort of blend it up. Now this one definitely has more of like a red tone. I like the tone of the first one a lot, but it just, I feel like it's a little bit light. Could also be because I'm just used to like contouring and sculpting out my face since it's not the most slim. Okay, so I'm actually gonna do blush now. I was gonna use the Pat McGrath, but I feel like maybe I should wait and use that for a more glam look just because we're doing so many creams. I wanna use these Natasha Denona. These are the Puff Paint liquid blushes. I've actually worn both of the shades, the tan and then the Daria, in my past couple of videos, but I wanna mix in a little bit of this berry shade. And the way that I apply my cream blushes is I never put it directly on the cheek. For me, that just always lifts pretty much every time I do that. So I like to put it on the back of my hand and then use my sponge just like I did with the Tower 28 and then blend it in. So I'm gonna mix a little bit of the shade Bloom with a little bit of Daria. Daria is a beautiful baby doll pink, which I've already used and love it, but I wanna pump it up a little bit with a little bit of Bloom. And Bloom, from what I've seen, is more pigmented. So you can see on my hand here, I've mixed them both. And then I just take my sponge and apply it this way. That's just my preferred method because I feel like it's seamless every time and I don't have to worry about lifting, which tends to happen to me. Now, of course, I haven't powdered yet, so I may not have needed to do this method. That is pretty. So this Bloom is definitely more pigmented and it does punch up the color. So if you are deeper complected, I think you should probably go with the Bloom. But the favorite for me has gotta be just Daria, but I also like the tan. The tan is very like Patrick Ta, She's So LA vibes. So I feel like I went a little bit crazy with the blush, but I'm a blush fiend, and once we set everything down, I feel like it will work. I'm still a fan of the Daria shade. I feel like it's just the perfect peachy pink for me personally. If you're a deeper skin tone, I would say Bloom would probably be your best bet. So now I wanna go in with the NARS Radiant Creamy Color Corrector in Light under my eyes. I don't know if I told you, but the applicator is a brush tip. It doesn't have a doe foot. It's an actual little brush, but it's really short bristles, which I appreciate. So you can get right up where you need to apply the product. So I'm just going to take it pretty much right in there. That's where I have the most discoloration. And then I'm gonna take my sponge. Wow, I really like that color. And it is creamy, it's lightweight. Does that look like it did a good job? I feel like I look bright. I didn't think I would, only because it just appeared a little bit darker, but I feel like that did a good job and it looks really nice and hydrated. I'm gonna go in with my Kosas concealer in the shade 03, and I really don't feel like I need a lot at all. I did go a little crazy with that blush though. I'm like, okay, how do we fix this? So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out, see how it does over top of that. That NARS might become a favorite. I really like it. It looks very hydrated too. So to set down my T-zone, I'm taking my BK Beauty 108 and I'm taking my Huda Beauty powder and I'm just setting very lightly, not like I normally would. I'm just setting my T-zone where I will get oily, especially like around my mouth, my nose, my chin, also under my eyes, a little bit on my forehead. So to set the rest of my face, I do want to try out this Dior powder. So this is the Dior Face and Body Powder No Powder in 3 Neutral. I originally picked up 5 Neutral and I used it as a bronzer, but it was a little bit deep, and my neighbor came over and she was like, it worked for her skin and she wanted it. So I went ahead and said, take it and I will get a lighter shade. This is just kind of a finishing powder. So I'm going to take a brush and use this really on the perimeter of my face just to set down any cream products. I'm even gonna take some over the blush and the Bronzino. So this powder definitely is a finishing powder in my opinion. It did sort of set things down, but very lightly. I still feel a tack. So this would again just be a finishing powder, not something that I use to really lock in my makeup, but more of that natural look. So because I feel like I'm really dewy and I don't want to put a bunch of powders on top, I'm just going to use my YSL bronzer on my eyes. I've been really enjoying this in the shade 2. I just want to add a little bit of color to my lids. I've really been liking this shade a lot for bronzer, and I'm keeping it a little bit higher up and kind of pulling it out here. So next I want to apply this new mascara. This is the Lorac Holy Lash Mascara. This is supposed to be a jet black matte mascara. It's supposed to give you volume, length, lift, everything that basically every mascara claims. I usually like wands like this, so we'll see. Oh. Dang. I got a little bit on my eye. That's like always my problem is when I build these up. Wow. That's like pretty good, to be honest. It's not a super wet formula. It's not dry. It's sort of right in the middle. It glides right on your lashes. Thicker formula. Okay, I'm getting it all over my lid, but you know, YOLO. But it's definitely really nice. Wow, what do you guys think? I can really tell when I'm not wearing a ton of makeup because usually when I'm doing these videos, I have like a lot of like eyeshadow on. So it's kind of hard to tell, but ooh, I'm impressed with this. So next I want to try out this e.l.f. Jelly Pop Glow Stick. This is their expansion of their Jelly Pop line. Okay, it's really, really glossy. Hopefully this isn't gonna lift. It's gorgeous though. I really hope it's not gonna lift my foundation because it's like really balmy, I guess, which, I mean, am I shocked? I'm gonna take this kind of sheer too on my finger here. And just pat it on very lightly. It's really pretty, but it's one of those that's probably going to stay wet. It gives you that wet look. So I think I'm gonna leave my complexion there, just simple everyday makeup, and I really want these light coverage cream products to shine. I will try the Pat McGrath in an upcoming video, but I wanna go in and finish off the lips. I'm gonna go in with KKW Nude 1.5. I really feel like my lips just finish a look. It's so crazy. No look is complete without my lips done. And I'm doing a little bit of a softer outline just because, again, this is more of a natural everyday look. For lipstick, I'm gonna go in with this Buxom lipstick. This is the Full Force in Heartthrob. We'll see how this looks. This is like a light pink. Yeah, I like this with this look. I'm also going to take Freck and do some faux freckles. And to finish off the look, just because I love this gloss so much, I'm going to take my Lawless gloss in Daisy Pink. It's just so shiny and beautiful. Alright guys, here's my finished makeup look using new products, tons of cream products. I hope you guys enjoyed this different type of video, and I'm gonna go over each product and tell you my thoughts. Starting off with the Artist Couture Prep and Glow. I don't feel like it added any texture or heaviness. It had a very slight tack to it, but nothing that disrupted my foundation, and I feel like it gave me a really nice, beautiful, glowy base. If you like super glowy primers, you might enjoy this. The scent didn't overwhelm me, although it does have a really nice kind of creamsicle scent. And if you have pores and texture like me, just keep it on the perimeter of your face and then use your pore smoothing primer in the center. But I like this so far. I don't feel like it's heavy at all. I love the NARS Tinted Moisturizer. This one is a smidge light for my fresh tan, but it works for me. This is something that I wear a lot when I'm not filming. I really, really like this. This might be one of my top, actually I know it is. This and the Fenty are like my favorite picks for tinted moisturizers, just because this is not heavy. It does not accentuate my texture. It's not thick and sticky like some of them that have skincare in them. I just cannot use those. It's very thin. You can build the coverage to a low end medium. So I feel like it'll work for a lot of different people, whether you have, you know, acne, blemishes, those are the same things, babs, acne, blemishes, hyperpigmentation, redness, whatever you want to cover. I feel like this will do enough, and then you can spot conceal as I did. I'm also really impressed with the Radiant Creamy Color Corrector. I really feel like this is going to be a hit. I like the texture of it. It's really nice and hydrating, nice and smoothing. Also covered up these blemishes really well, and my under eyes, it did brighten. I will say these run a little bit dark, so this is the lightest shade. So when in doubt, I would go down a shade just because they're not as light as the Becca, so definitely keep that in mind, but I think this is going to be a hit. In terms of the Bronzinos from Tower 28, I am not a huge fan of cream bronzers. I feel like they lift more than anything on me, and I don't know why. This didn't lift or anything, maybe a little bit of unevenness. I think for me, I'm so used to having a full coverage foundation on that I feel like when I use a tinted moisturizer, it may look patchy, but it's actually just my skin peeking through, my little redness and stuff like that. I do like the Gold Coast shade a lot. I like it more than the Best Coast. Best Coast is deeper, but it's more red toned. It almost appeared as a blush. I like this tone better. It's more of like a gold tone, but it's a little bit light for me, Gold Coast. So I'll have to keep playing around with it. But again, I'm not a huge cream bronzer fan, although I do love cream blushes. I have to say I still love Daria. And I did in my Sephora haul video, I wore the tan shade, and I like the tan shade as well. It's very neutral. I typically go more for the pinky shade, so this is my favorite, but I do like the tan as well. I just want to say though that you probably have to be my skin tone or lighter to use the tan or the Daria. If you're deeper complected, I would go for Bloom, although Bloom is really punchy. I feel like I got a little crazy with the blush there, but when do I not? I'm undecided on the Dior powder because it gave me the same vibe as the Kosas powder did, which didn't work out for me. I feel like if you have dry skin, you will love this just because it has a little bit of a glow to it and it's very light. It's not a heavy powder that's gonna set things down. I'll have to keep trying it. Again, I wanna try it when I don't have so much cream on my face because I feel like I'm overloaded with cream products. And it's one of those things, I love the way they look and they look beautiful, but they're not gonna last all day. And if I touch my face, things are gonna start slipping and sliding. So for me, this is just like a everyday look, not a long wear look. I want to try this with more of like my matte products and see if it maybe gives me a little bit of a radiance or if I can buff it on like as a finishing powder, but I don't dislike it. I'm not sure yet. In terms of the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Glow Stick, it didn't lift anything. I mean, it looks beautiful. It gave me a really dewy look, and I like that it's not chunks of glitter or anything like that. I mean, it's a really beautiful shade. It's like wet with a little bit of that glow. It's not too icy or anything like that. So I feel like this would be universal because it really is that wet glow with a little bit of that highlight. So I think this is going to be a hit as well. Also quite impressed with the Lorac Holy Lash. It really did great things for my lashes. It got a little bit on my lid, but so does the Bite Beauty Upswing or anything that really gives me a ton of volume. But I really am impressed with this. I like the packaging. It's that matte packaging. And I feel like it really did give me volume, but also length. So I'm excited to keep trying this. This might might become a favorite. And then lastly, I'm absolutely in love with my Lawless glosses. I want her to come out with more shades. Even though there's these 2 new ones, I'm like, more! I love Daisy Pink, a beautiful baby creamy pink, and it's just something that goes so well with the blush and everything that I'm wearing. If you don't like such a pink look, I would go for Velvet. It still is a pink, but it has a little bit more depth. It's more like a mid-tone mauve-y pink. I feel like it would be more universal, but I absolutely love these. So that is everything for this trying new makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed doing something different, just doing a more natural look with glowy products and getting to test out products that I feel like I skip over because I'm always trying to do like a cut crease or, you know, a smoky eye or something like that. Sometimes it's nice to just do everyday makeup. This is what I am wearing most days, honestly. Maybe a winged liner, but other than that, I pretty much stick to something like this, very minimal. So let me know if you want to see more videos like this, using more products like this, not focusing on a really intense eye look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.